Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kate DeBono, and I am the Student Experience Coordinator for Orientation and First Year Programs here at Nipissing University, and I'm hail from the Department of Student Learning and Transitions. So today we're going to be talking to you about the resources, supports, and programs that our office, Student Learning and Transitions, offers students here at Nipissing. And joining me today is my student leader, Sarah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Tatro, and I am in my third year of criminal justice, and I am Kate's student experience assistant, which means that I'm kind of helping her out with all the tasks that she needs. So here we are. And with that, I would also like to begin by doing a land acknowledgement, which is what we do before our live sessions. So as we begin this Student Learning and Transitions webinar, I would like to acknowledge that Nipissing University is in the territory of the Robinson-Huron Treaty of 1850, and that the land on which we gather is the Nipissing First Nation traditional territory and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. We also acknowledge the lands that we all are gathering and joining from today, and we respect and are grateful to hold this event on these lands with all our relations.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sarah. I appreciate that. So let's get started. Let's get into it. So here at Nipissing recognizes that students are in a constant state of transition and orientation throughout their degree. So our office, Student Learning and Transitions, which we might refer to as SLT going forward, we design and plan intentional orientation and transition programs, and we offer them at very specific and different times throughout the academic year in order to assist students in successfully navigating their academic career. So we start from a student entering university through supporting your personal growth and success on your journey and culminating in graduating and going out into the world of work and careers. Student Learning and Transitions helps students and is with students every step of that way, from that bottom stair there with your student just starting, pondering what it's going to be like, to a successful graduate out into the world. So who am I? I introduced myself earlier, but Kate, Student Experience Coordinator for Orientation and First Year Programs. So that means that I am the staff member behind our new student orientation and our Lakers orientation. And you would meet with me for the record of student development and support, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, and anything associated with orientation and transitioning into university. So our orientation programs are NSO and Lakers orientation, and I will talk about them in just a minute. But our programs, those programs, are focused on helping students understand their degree requirements, form and enhance their support networks, develop those academic and life skills, and learn to navigate the physical space of campus and connect with opportunities to get involved. So it's that first transition. So our transition orientation programs are two steps. New student orientation is the first stage, and Lakers orientation is the second stage. So what is new student orientation? NSO. NSO is your first step into transitioning into university. So Nipissing helps students with their supporters prepare for entering university and what that first year experience at NU is going to be like.
Now, Kate, I know when I was coming into my first year at Nipissing, I didn't really know what supporters meant. So could you let our folks know what exactly that means?
Yeah, for sure. Supporter is a term that we use at Nipissing to describe that person who is behind you in your transition into university and becoming a university student. So that could mean that person, that supporter could be your mom or your dad or your grandparent or your spouse or your sibling or your friend, your cousin. So instead of a polarizing term like your parents, we say your supporter, because your supporter could really be anyone. And it's that person who's going to be behind you every step of the way. And Nipissing recognizes that supporters and educators, so we're the educators and these are supporters, share the same goal. We all want educated, successfully graduated students, right? So we, and so we give supporters specific strategies and tools that they can use to support their student in a way that fosters independent growth and development. So that's what a supporter is for us. So at NSO, sorry, Sarah, did you have anything else?
No, that's okay.
Perfect. I'll just carry through. Jump in if you need to. So at NSO, we address the essential information that you need to get started at university and at Nipissing. So we introduce students and supporters to topics such as housing, food service, safety, academic advising. So when you attend NSO in July, you'll register for your courses with an academic advisor to help map out your first year. You'll learn about our residence and housing options, off-campus living options. You'll have some workshops about finances, fees, find out about deadlines that are coming up, how are you going to pay, when scholarship bursary deadlines are, and you'll connect with opportunities to get involved. You'll find out about what student services exist at Nipissing, and then find out what your next steps are to start. So that, in a nutshell, is new student orientation. Oh, you'll also meet students that are in your program. So you're not just doing it alone. You're not just like one-on-one with Nipissing University. You come and join other peers that are in your same course and program. So you connect with people, and you'll also meet student leaders who are upper year students who are in your program as well, or that further along in their journey. And you can talk to them about what that first year is like. Like Sarah, you're a student leader.
Yeah, and I'm glad you segued into that, Kate, because I was just about to jump in and say that I am in my third year now, but in first year when I was coming first to my NSO even, before I even started school there, I came with my supporters, which were my parents actually. And it was actually funny because I knew that I belonged at Nipissing University from the moment I got out of the car. And I remember talking to my parents and saying, this is it, like this is where I want to be. And me and my mom walking through the school and learning all these things, I could have swore that she was actually more excited than I was, and I was very, very excited. So to be able to bring your supporters and learn about your school that you'll be attending is so exciting. And actually, I'm living in my house with one of the people that I actually met at my NSO. So it's crazy that in your NSO, you may be finding people and building connections and building relationships with people that you're going to continue growing together with. So that I think is really cool about your NSO.
Yeah, awesome. So at NSO, so I said we have the supporter programming. So you'll come together with your supporters, and you'll have some joint things like finances and whatnot that you'll learn about, but then you'll be kind of separated, and you have supporters will learn tools and tips and strategies to help support their student and their journey. And then students will get to meet with student leaders like yourself and find out what that student experience really is like from a student perspective. So yeah, so our second stage of orientation is called Lakers Orientation. And this one is offered at the last week of August, or the week before classes start. So we're helping you transition into your community here. So Lakers Orientation is a 1 week orientation where you get to make a deeper connection with your university and its communities. So now that you're no longer preoccupied with the logistics of registration and housing and how do I pay for school and that kind of stuff, the students have the capacity to learn new things and learn more about their university by getting connected with their communities and meeting new people. So Lakers Orientation includes residence orientation and move-in. So you'll come with your supporters and move into residence and do that transition piece. It includes our accessibility transition program. It includes NUSU's Frosh Week, which is a whole bunch of student activities and building connections with their peers. You'll get to meet your professors and talk to them about what that first year university is like. What is it like to do a first year university course? And you'll actually get to talk to the professor that you signed up for their course back in July. Now you actually get to meet them. And we do some academic skill highlights, and international student orientation happens at the same time. And there's some equity and allyship events. So it's a week of getting to know your university now that the logistics are kind of taken over right before you start in at your courses.
Also going to jump in here and tell you folks a little bit about my background and why this was so helpful to me. So I'm from a little small town that's 7 hours away from North Bay. And so then coming to a new place like North Bay that's way far away from my family, it was super overwhelming and intimidating to just start this new adventure in my life. And Lakers orientation was super helpful because I found it especially targeted, definitely your academics and adjusting to your academic life, but also your social life and building new connections and building your relationships. And so things like Frosh or the residence events and things like that really helped me to establish myself and kind of form my own support network that is 7 hours away from what I considered home at that time. So if you are nervous about attending university and kind of starting that next adventure in your life, don't worry, we do have programming specifically designed to help you build relationships and build connections and friendships. So definitely recommend attending your Lakers orientation because it's just so much fun.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sarah. So you've taken that step. You're on that journey. Now you've started classes. So you started classes. Now let's meet the members in our team in Student Learning and Transitions who help you succeed now that you're in your program. So we had two student learning coordinators, and our student learning coordinator for writing and academic skills is Lindsay Voisin. And she supports students in a variety of ways, but you can book one-on-one appointments with her and she'll go over things like academic writing. So how do you go from a 500-word essay to a 3,000-word thesis? How do you do that? How do you transition through that? She goes over how to read your textbook and test taking and taking notes in a course so that you can prepare for studying. And then citations and referencing. This could be new, but she works with you on how to build those skills and to help you be successful. New this year, now that our fall semester is virtual due to COVID, but she's running strategies and workshops on online learning. So how can you be a successful university student in the online environment? It's very different, and it poses different opportunities, but also challenges with being virtual. So you can book one-on-one appointments with Lindsay, and she can help you do that. She also oversees the Academic Success Program. And the Academic Success Program is a group learning opportunity that we have here at Nipissing with sessions run by either Lindsay and or peer educators. And peer educators are upper year students employed through Student Learning and Transitions, and they're trained to deliver and co-deliver some of this content, like Sarah here, right?
Totally, yeah, and actually, I'm gonna jump in right here, Kate.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to go kind of a real life example. So, as I've said earlier, I am in my third year, but I am constantly trying to learn more and improve more and grow in my university life here. And so this week, Lindsay is offering a whole bunch of academic success workshops. And so tonight, actually, I think it's at 7, I'm gonna be hopping on one of her workshops, and it's about time management and online learning, and how I can kind of improve with time management while I'm learning online, because it's a whole different kind of atmosphere that we're all learning how to work and do school in together. And so these kinds of programs, I think, are super useful, especially because you'll find that high school academics and high school requirements are much different than what professors are expecting of you in university. And so this was a huge relief for me in first year, because with the help of Lindsay, it makes you feel like you're not alone to adjust to this. And she's kind of right there by your side, helping you to really boost your papers and just how you do this whole academic thing. So definitely take advantage of this when you do come to Nipissing, because I think it's super important and you'll really value what you learn.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, so if you register with the Academic Success Program, you can, and then you get information on these kinds of workshops that are on the screen right now that we offer at specific times during the academic year when you need them. So like in September, we offered the Successful Start to the Semester, but like right now during reading week. What was the name of the one you're attending tonight, Sarah?
Time management and online learning.
Yeah, awesome. So that's about this time. We're midway through the semester. So let's do a refresh and a reboot for our strategies for finishing that semester online and being successful in our online exams. For sure.
And I'm actually going to jump in one more time.
Yeah.
Because I thought of a really specific example, because you folks are probably like, okay, so but what do I actually learn in these things? Well, I'll tell you a specific example. So with online learning, it's kind of difficult to figure out how to study for courses because normally some students might go to the library to study or some might go to a coffee shop. And so Lindsay had a great example of what you could do to help you study at home. Because I may be one of those people that like to work in a coffee shop, and having the sounds, that background noise of a coffee shop is super helpful with me studying. Lindsay said, well, what you can do is actually just YouTube coffee shop sounds, and there's like 1 hour, 2 hour playlists right online that you can play through your headphones or your speakers, and it makes you kind of feel, if you make your own latte, then it feels like you're right in a coffee shop. Maybe you could have like a sibling bring it to you, and it really feels like you're at a coffee shop. So you'll learn all kinds of awesome things that'll really help you. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a fun strategy. That's awesome. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so these workshops and meeting with Lindsay, but these workshops are designed to positively enhance your university experience. So help you be a successful student. So our second student learning coordinator for math and science is Veronica Afonso. So Veronica supports students with program required stats. So if you have to take a stats course for your program, business math, science courses, math related software, like Excel even. If you're going into nursing, she helps dosage calculations and exams, has resources for that. And if you're thinking of doing your thesis and going on further into graduate school, helps you with research design. So she's the person, the go-to person for math and science. So aside from meeting with her one-on-one, Veronica also develops specific course content and resources. So PowerPoint slides, videos, practice tests and exams and quizzes for courses that are offered at Nipissing University and with those professors. So you don't have to meet with her one-on-one. If you like connect with her and then says, I'm in this course, I'm in econ, which is economics 1127, and I'm having trouble with this one chapter, she can give you some tools and resources to help you succeed in that one course, especially if you're just taking a course that, say you're in a program that's not a math program or a science program, but it does require 1 credit. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll jump in here because this is a perfect example. I'm in criminal justice, which isn't necessarily a math program at all, but I do have to take a stats course. And so me, before even coming to university, I never considered myself a math person. It always just made my brain hurt, and I avoided it kind of at all costs. But now I can't avoid it. So having Veronica here kind of on the sidelines, helping me learn math and just helping me develop those skills that'll help me in my course was a huge relief for me coming to university and finding out I have to take a stats course, because I think if we didn't have Veronica here kind of helping out, I would definitely probably not do as well as I would want to in my courses. So definitely take Veronica and have her help you with your courses, because I think she can really not only boost your marks, but just help you gain a better understanding of your course, and specifically those math courses that you don't necessarily want to take, but you have to take. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly criminal justice. Totally. I was blanking on what some programs were, but so Veronica also offers some actual like workshops that are in the academic success program as well. So coming up pretty soon, we'll be having the how to create a cheat sheet. So you're doing some math or science exams that allow you to take in one reference sheet. So she shows you strategies on how to actually create that based on the course that you're in. Staying a fraction ahead, that sounds a lot like a math workshop. And the finals countdown. So we'll be getting closer to Christmas. Will be the finals countdown. We'll be offering that one, and then again at the end of the year. So yeah, that's our student learning coordinator for math and science. So we also offer some unique programs that help support your growth in your journey as you go through your academic career. So one of them is peer tutoring, and peer tutoring is a program. It's actually the only service under SLT that has an external cost. Everything else is covered in your fees. But the cost is $50 for 4 hours worth of tutoring. So students are matched, particularly first year students, are matched with over 100 peer tutors that represent most undergraduate courses that we offer here at Nipissing. And all of the peer tutors are trained and verified, which means they've had to take the course and achieve a certain level of success. And they've been trained through student learning and transitions via Lindsay, who I said earlier oversees this program to help you succeed in that one particular course if you want some additional peer tutoring from a student who actually took it. So yeah, the other unique program that we have here is the RSD, which is the Record of Student Development. And I like this, like, does your degree tell your story? When you go to university and you take your degree and then you graduate, you have your degree and list of courses that you've taken. But your RSD is an official transcript, and it's a formal record endorsed by Nipissing, where you can include any approved workshops, volunteering, awards, leadership roles you've taken, varsity sports or clubs, even student jobs you've participated in while completing your degree. And it tracks all of that while you're completing your degree. And each activity that you've participated in is linked to a set of skills, or what we call competencies, and that employers or recruiters or scholarship or bursary benefactors are looking for. So we have an example, kind of what, actually this is exactly what an RSD looks like, but Louis the Laker took it. This is Louis' RSD for categories under leadership and development, and they took a peer note taker, volunteer peer note taker, and they achieved like certain skills like organization, ethical practice, critical thinking, and communication. So there's this transcript that you can get at the end of your degree that complements your actual degree and helps you transition out into the world of work and help you sell yourself, so to speak. So, oh, Sarah, you have an RSD, don't you?
I totally do.
Yeah, I thought you did.
But before that, I wanted to let y'all know too that Louis the Laker is actually our mascot, for those of you who aren't familiar with who that is, because I remember when I was first coming to Nipissing, I was like, what is the mascot? Who is that? And so that's what that name is for, and that's what Kate was referencing.
That's true.
But what I was going to add in is that what I use for when I'm going to be graduating and finding employment after I graduate, but also even when I'm looking for employment while I'm in school, I take that list of competencies. You can kind of see a little bit of it on that example that's on your slide, but I take those and I actually put them in as kind of like keywords in my resume and the jobs I have done before and what they kind of help me develop. So those competencies, which are things like collaboration, communication, critical thinking, empathy, all of those kinds of things, that's what employers are going to be looking for once you graduate. And so having those competencies right in front of your own eyes will really help you in finding jobs in the future. And so a couple examples of things that I have actually added to my RSD in the past 3 years of me being at Nipissing University is I was a residence tour guide, so I added that. I was vice president of athletics and wellness in my residence building, and I added that. And then I was also a Shine Day volunteer during Frosh. And so just all kinds of activities like that can all go on your RSD and really give that official feeling to your RSD when you go to graduate. So yeah.
It captures, yeah, it's true. It captures all of that out of the class learning and growth and development that is happening while you're a university student, while you're transitioning through your years, and it captures it, records it, and helps you structure it. So if you are asked to describe on an application or in an interview or for grad studies, describe your social responsibility, you have it. And it's an official document from Nipissing that's endorsed by Nipissing. So yeah, so that actually brings us to our next member of student learning and transition. So you can see we're helping students and assisting students transitioning through entering university, during your journey of taking your degree with Lindsay and Veronica, and now, okay, we're now on the home stretch. You're going to be graduating. So now you can meet with our career services coordinator, Courtney Picard. So you can meet with Courtney or go to some of her events where she'll help you with your resume, structuring your cover letter, fine-tuning some interview skills. Your focus has been on academics and your learning through your degree, and now your focus needs to be on where am I going now? And where do you go now? That's something that she can help you with as well. So you've got this degree, what can you do with it? And that's what she can meet you on. Like you may think, okay, well, I've got this degree in history and English, and I've got my teacher's degree, but can I just be a teacher? Is there something else that I can do? Absolutely. There's a ton of other job opportunities or career opportunities that you can explore. And that's what Courtney will help you define your degree and find out what paths you can take once you graduate. So career readiness and so much more.
And with that, I was also going to jump in, Kate, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think another really important part of Courtney's job that can really help you as you journey into your university life is that Courtney will also keep you up to date on what employers are looking for. So if you look around at all your peers and you think about it, they're all going to be graduating with you, and they're all also going to be looking for jobs or going on to pursue their masters or things like that. And so it kind of, meeting with Courtney and having her workshops and whatnot added to your RSD and things like that, it'll really help you to kind of gain that edge and help you present what employers will be looking for when you do go to graduate. So there's that too.
It's true. We're all in SLT, it's like student learning and transitions, right? So how do you capture all of that? But we all have our independent roles on supporting that student through that transition, whether it be like my role, which is at the beginning, you've decided that Nipissing was going to be your home, and now we're going to orient you and transition you into university life. And then we have our learning coordinators, which help you with your academic role and journey. And then Courtney is going to help you transition as a graduate out into whatever world that may be. So yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of our presentation for student learning and transitions. But I kind of wanted to end it on the beautiful pictures of our campus, obviously. But I appreciate meeting the new students and seeing them journey through, and I love going to graduation and when they go to convocation and I see them graduate. When I met them at orientation and we watched them do their journey, and now we're going, yeah, go out. But we sometimes hear from our students, and I just love this one, the professors are always willing to help and learn your name. It's true, we know our students, which separates Nipissing from all the other universities. And the campus is beautiful and the environment is profoundly welcoming. And I agree, Nipissing feels like home. And I think that that's probably one of the most important things.
And just jumping on that first quote that you said, Kate, I'll actually give you a very specific example. That's not my quote, but I have a very similar example. In my first year, I think it was actually my first semester of my first year, I was walking down the hallway, and I think it was literally that first week of classes, and I was in a class with a professor, we call them prof for short, and we kind of saw each other in the hallway, and within that first week of classes, he already knew my name and said, "Hey Sarah, how's it going?" And it was actually his first year teaching as a prof at the university, and we were chatting out in the hallway, and it just goes to show you that your professors actually care about you, and they really want to see you succeed too, which is awesome for a university to have that, and especially Nipissing University with the views like on your screen, because that's another selling point of for me coming to this university is just how gorgeous it is. So definitely don't feel like you'll ever be a number at Nipissing University. You are a person that matters, and your profs and everybody else working there is going to show you that. So
oh, thanks, Sarah. That means a lot, especially like working in student learning and transitions, and you get to see the transition of students and be successful and graduate and become a lifelong Laker. That's a term that I just made up, but yeah, become a lifelong Laker. So that's awesome. So with that kind of concludes our webinar on what student learning and transition offers as far as services and programs. And now we can open it up for any questions.